has clicked past 10 o'clock. So we'll kick off our webinar. Today's webinar is about reclaiming your time using smart Microsoft 365 features to save you time and hours. Have you got the presentation there, Ben? Do you want to? Okay, so
Yeah.
Thanks, Ben. So today, presenting this webinar will be Ben Fish. Ben is our digital enablement lead at Kinetics and part of the Cambium team. And Dinesh will also be working with Ben. Dinesh works with process, change management, and there's a fair bit of overlap too in terms of coaching and helping people through their digital journeys. I'll be helping with questions again, so if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A or the chat, and we'll answer those the best we can. And we will be recording it, so if you'd like to look at it later or pass it on to a colleague, you're more than welcome to. Over to you, Ben and Dino.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Scott. Good morning, everyone. I'm Ben. My colleagues here, Scott and Dinesh as well, or Dino. So Dino is going to kick off with our introduction.
All right. Morning, everyone. So to set the scene, we're really focusing on why time saving is, such an important thing these days. So in the first instance, when we look at time is actually non-renewable. It's a simple truth. It's a resource you can't get back. Every minute you spend on manual processes or tasks, that's basically a minute taken away and not allowing you to think about more strategic or more innovative ideas. One of the things as we go through is also to ask yourself, how much of your day is consumed by repetitive admin work, because that is the time that you won't be able to reclaim back. So one thing is, yes, time is non-renewable. When it comes to manual activities or manual processes, they don't just eat up time, but they also slow a lot of the progress and increase the risk of errors. So think about, copying data, say, between spreadsheets or even chasing approvals via emails. These tasks can also create bottlenecks, frustration, and the more manual steps, the higher chances that there's something that could go wrong as well. Another thing around efficiency. So efficiency does fuel agility. When you work smarter, it can also mean faster decisions, and that leads to better outcomes. And as you are all aware in today's business environment, agility is also part of your competitive advantage. The other thing is, we mentioned briefly around, being able to focus on what is really more high value work. Your expertise should be spent more on the decisions or the actions rather than this admin or this formatting or design aspects. For a lot of business professionals, you can add value through your insight and your judgment, not necessarily, creating or styling documents. So the question really we're asking here is, how do you shift from low value tasks to high impact work? Consistency creates confidence. The more standardized workflows are, they reduce guesswork and they also help deliver more predictable results. So when processes are repeatable, they're more reliable, and that also builds up more confidence across the various users who need to access those various tools or systems. Now, with all of that said, the good news is Microsoft 365 has a lot of those tools already available, okay? And you can actually make that shift. The real challenge here is actually how do you unlock that potential? And in today's presentation, that's really what we're going to be looking at. So I'm going to hand over to Ben to kick things off with I believe, Teams and SharePoint.
Okay, thanks, Dino. Okay, so Teams and SharePoint are basically our starting points for sharing and collaborating across Microsoft 365. So we can access key resources that we want our staff to use using both of these tools. So that includes documents and communications, schedules, plans. You can build your own apps in both of these and put them in each location. Some of it becomes a bit around personal preference. Teams is very much like a Swiss Army knife. You can bring almost any tool into it, and not just the Microsoft ones as well. There are options to connect to other systems and make them easily accessible from within a team in teams. Now, SharePoint is more visual. You'll see actual screenshots of some of our SharePoints here. So the one on the right there for the Cambium team, we've made it nice and easy to get to all our key resources in terms of documents and the tools we use. Everyone in the team has got access to this. They go in, click, and they're away. You almost don't have to train them on how it actually works. Hey, not only can you be putting those resources in there, you can track things too. So whether that's policies and procedures that need regular updates or reviews or tasks, compliance you need to follow, you can do all of that within SharePoint. You just build out the apps. As I say, anything you build in SharePoint can actually be leveraged via Teams as well. With each of these, if you are gathering information, it's simply done by using forms. We're going to see some of those in a moment as well. But I'll just show you a very quick thing because it's going to take us into the next wee bit that we see with Dino. Now, every organization is likely to have templates. Now, how well they organize the templates is going to differ, of course, as well. Now, actually storing them in an organization asset site within SharePoint makes it easy to leverage them from the specific application that they apply to. So we've got our setup at Cambium within our organization assets SharePoint, and then within that particular site, we have folders for our Excel, PowerPoint, and Word templates. And when we come to create a new document in Word or Excel, we've actually done a bit of scripting behind the scenes. It's pretty straightforward to set up, and we can help you out with it. And we see those organizational assets, and staff can simply come in and choose the template that they would actually like to start from. Okay, so I'm going to hand over to Dino. I'll just bring it back to the slides, and he's going to tell you a bit more about the power of templates.
Cool. Thanks, Ben. So when it comes down to templates, from what you've just seen, yes, there is also some work that actually is required to set up templates in terms of its design and, layouts. But this is where, if we were to start off talking about things like PowerPoint templates, for instance, one of the things is to actually start off using the slide master. So the reason we're looking at the slide master is because we actually want to control the entire look of the PowerPoint template, the PowerPoint document template, whatever it might be. But essentially, working from your slide master allows you to update, things like logos, apply brand designs, color schemes, etc., all of that, and apply it once and for all, so it actually retains and keeps a consistent look and feel to your presentation. And this also takes away from the need for those manual changes. So it does actually form the basis of building up templates. Not only you've seen ones, created by Microsoft, but also spending the time and effort putting in and designing your templates is actually probably a starting point to then start leveraging, what Ben was showing earlier, where you can just start incorporating your organizational assets inside the various apps. So again, slide masters, we're really just emphasizing it because this is what actually helps start off with that consistency in all your templates. We then also did talk a little bit about, bringing those organizational assets into those various apps like Word and PowerPoint or even Excel. And this is where we've got this thing called PowerShell. Now, you don't need to be, fully proficient with PowerShell, but for those who might be aware, it is something which runs a bit of code, and this code is actually something we can help you with. But this code is actually what ties together things from your SharePoint to those Microsoft apps. And again, it really just makes it easy. You don't need to go around manually installing templates on each and every individual's folders. It's pretty much there. It's pretty much like a bulk action. And again, it's fast and it also makes it consistent. The other thing to talk about is, the design ideas that are also available within PowerPoint. Now, Copilot, AI, there's been a lot of this talk, in terms of designing materials, but sometimes it is also important to remember that some of this stuff has been available inside, these apps for quite a while. And when it comes down to design ideas, it's really suggestions in terms of polished layouts and something you can actually just pick up quick and easy to use. You don't need to really tweak too much on fonts or position boxes, but what it does give you is more time to maybe concentrate on the message or what you actually want that PowerPoint slide or that presentation to do. Focus more on your message rather than these design aspects. So with that, I'm also going to jump over to Microsoft Word because that probably builds up from not only templates. So again, we are emphasizing templates because this is what will also help you do a lot of the heavy lifting. So again, we've covered off templates, but the other thing to talk about is styles. Now, when you're creating a document template, say within Word, it's important to establish the styles up front because the styles allows you to determine the heading types, the font, the size, colors, etc., all of that for that particular document, which can then be turned into your template. And when you have your styles documented or styles prepared, again, that is keeping your consistent approach to any time a document's open, the styles already prepared, and the consistent look and feel always comes through. Saves, again, a lot of that time of trying to manually adjust fonts or colors, really. The other thing that we've really picked up or really, found a lot of use in has been around quick parts. Now, quick parts within documents is really just a way for you to sort of drop in reusable text blocks. So, for instance, in our business, we prepare a lot of, statements of works, proposals. And one of the things we have to do is usually produce a lot of the core content over and over. So in those cases that's where these quick parts come into play. You can still edit bits and pieces, but the bulk of it is really there for us to actually use. And it is also something which helps speed up the process rather than generating or typing, text from scratch, or even using an old document to copy and paste. A lot of this is already built into your template, and it does make it a lot more easier to use. The bottom line, it doesn't take really a lot of time to prepare these templates or prepare these style guides, everything. But once you've actually done that, you've actually created a unified style and layout for your documents, templates, whatever it might be. And once that is done, really, you just get more time to focus on your messaging and the actual intent of your documents. Cool. So I'll hand back to Ben.
Okay, thanks, Dino. Okay, so we're going to look at taking our information that we gather or information that we want to put out to colleagues or to clients or whoever it may be, and save time with doing that. So we've got a couple of examples here. Now, the automation system that sits within Microsoft 365 is called Power Automate, and within that you build flows. You actually use various predefined building blocks and you use those to call in data, to manipulate data and create outputs of some form. So you can use it to notify people about information that you want to keep them up to speed on, and you can build out approvals as well, where people get a notification and they can approve or reject, or even create your own custom approval phases and items as well. Those approvals can be very straightforward. They can be a simple send it to one person to review and approve or reject, or they can be far more complex, where it actually goes through multiple parties and various stages, and potentially needs more than just a single approval. It might mean approval across a range of people before the item moves on. Now, we can also involve AI with Power Automate as well. I'm sure most of you know about generative AI now in terms of generating content. So we can actually introduce that into our Power Automates. For example, we might receive a document and want a generative AI step within our automation, once the document is received, to process that information or analyze it in a particular way and produce an output from it. So we're actually going to take a bit of a deeper look at this and just show you the makeup of Power Automate and a couple of processes in action. So I'm just going to start off with a very simple one, and it's one that we set up for a client where weather is a very important concern for them in their day-to-day duties. So they actually deal with hazardous substances and they're out in the open. So you can imagine hazardous substances out in the open. The weather can impact what work they can actually do, or what precautions they need to take. So rather than having all staff going in and checking the weather forecast each morning for the day ahead, or one person having to go and check it and then email it out to all staff, we've got an automation here. It does look like I'm sending it every time, so it comes from a name, but actually I do absolutely nothing at 7 o'clock in the morning. We've simply built an automation that talks to Microsoft's weather site. It picks up Auckland as the location, and it goes and drafts out a post to all staff about what the weather forecast is for today and for tomorrow. So there you go. I think you can probably see by looking outside, if you're in Auckland, that you do need an umbrella as well. But looks like maybe it might be a wee bit better tomorrow. Well, now, that notification, we've got it going into Teams. So your automations, they talk across the Microsoft applications. And again, you can call in third-party applications as well. That includes traditional stuff that are on file servers as well as other applications. Let's take a look at another example. And this ties in with Dino's templates that he ran over in Word, is we can take it one stage further. So just bear with me while I bring this up on screen. So we recently helped to develop a system for one of our legal clients, and it was to help them build out documents, make sure that they were gathering the correct and consistent information, and be able to use that same information for additional documents as well. So they simply fill out a very simple form. And this can be searched as well as selected from the drop-down list. You'll see it started to populate a few wee bits there. And they can either go and create documents from scratch, or they can view the previous documents they've created and reuse the information from those. So I'm just going to go to a view previous, and you'll see here there's some documents I've already created about Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote. And I can actually go and save as and create a new document based on this information, or update the information on it. I just go for a save as there, and you'll see it pops up on screen. So it gives us the various boxes to fill out. So I'm not looking at a Word document. I'm wondering where I've got to put the information, where the placeholders are. We simply gather it in here, and there can be a level of smartness and intelligence built into this, that if you select a certain document type, you only get the fields that are needed for that document type. And once we've gathered the information, I won't add any more on there. We simply submit that, and that's what sends it over to Power Automate. In fact, it actually stores the information in a SharePoint list, because we might want to review that later on. Okay. So here's the information that I've been gathering as I've asked for new documents to be created, and Power Automate takes care of the creation of the document. So here's an example of a Power Automate. It's the one that actually processes that information. You'll see it's going through a whole lot of steps. So you can imagine if you were there having to do that manually within a document, that's going to take you a fair chunk of time. It populates the Word document, and eventually it emails it out to the relevant person in this instance. So that's the author of it. So I do have an example of that. So just bear with me. So here's an email from one I created earlier. It sent that through. And I simply go and open that document, and the information has been populated from the app. So no need for me to type too much until I finally get this, and now I can revise the information in this, add to it, and get that document finalized. So it's a simple letter example here, but it can be something a lot more complex, such as those proposals, detailed documents, SOWs, if you're in the legal sector, legal documents, accounting documents, whatever it needs to be. Okay, so certainly helping with that level of consistency. Okay, so certainly automating those repetitive tasks is definitely going to help you free up time. I should point out, you wouldn't just want to dive into Power Automate. It's all about let's put down what the process or the goal is that we're looking to achieve, and then how can the tools that we have available to us, where do they fit in to actually help us? Okay, so that takes us to our last main topic. Now, I'm sure most of you are familiar with Excel. Uh, Now, I used to work in a payroll team, and basically, end of month was everyone was trying to be calm, but there was a certain manicness around the office when it was payroll time. I actually worked for a charity, and we had a lot of timesheets that would come in, overtime claims. People changing one role from the next, and it all had to be updated on the payroll system for us to run an accurate payroll at the end of the month. Now, not only did we have to run that, we had to report on the information as well. And that was really, although we had it reasonably automated for the time, it meant getting the data from the payroll, putting it out into a format that could then be analyzed in Excel, and we had to generate the charts and the analysis. And you know what? You do all that, and it would take about a day to do. And what would happen? The payroll team leader would go, we've just had another timesheet that's come through, and we need to incorporate that in this payroll run. They do all the bits on the payroll side of things, and I had to spend the time repeating the whole day again, as it were, just to incorporate that final update. So this last bit is just a real time saver on that, is using what's called get and transform. It's also known as Power Query within Excel. It's where you simply build out the connections to your data, and it doesn't have to be, Microsoft data. You can talk to SQL databases, you can talk to other systems, you can talk to CSV file exports. You can pretty much bring any data into it. You transform the data, so another term for that might be you massage it, you tidy it up, and when you do that, you do it once and it remembers it. So you don't have to do it again when you get that additional timesheet or whatever entry that may come in later on in the day or later on in the week. And once you've done the tidy up, you can then visualize your data, or you model it, because there might be certain sets of data you want talking to other sets of data as well. So you can compare, for example, in my screenshot here, how much we paid out in salary versus the sales we made. Probably see on there, we're not looking too good at the moment. The salaries are far outweighing the sales, and you visualize it. So that's the charting here. Now, we've done the charting in Excel, but you can do it from a tool called Power BI as well. The whole transformation and the data you call in is the same process. So I just want to show you, I'm going to come to the actual live dashboard within Excel. So here it is. It is showing the January, February, and March data. Now, I've just received an update with the latest quarter set of data. I'm not doing monthly reporting, and I don't have to process that as such. I just need to, make sure it's in the right place. And I say the right place because I've actually got it in CSV files. So I've overridden the previous month's CSV files with this next month's, or quarters, I should say, and all I now need to do is simply go and choose the refresh icon. Just watch out when you're doing a refresh, when you've done any get and transforming or power querying, you'll likely find that when you do a refresh, it refreshes your pivots first, then it refreshes the data that it's calling in. So generally, you have to go and click on the refresh icon twice. So we'll let it do its merry way. You can imagine it's doing quite a lot in the background here, but it is giving me an update on what it is actually doing. Okay, there's a number of sources it's calling in. There's a number of pivots it's updating as well. Like I say, it usually updates your pivots first, and then it calls in the updated data. So I'm just going to do the refresh one more time, and fingers crossed everything will work okay, even though we're on this Teams call, and I'll start to see that I'm getting in the data from across that half year now, not just that first quarter that we're showing in a moment. And we'll start to see we're in a much better position over the last quarter, where our sales are definitely outweighing the salaries that we have. Right, so we'll just take it to a wrap up there. So let's just come back to our slides. So in terms of next steps, well, here's where we can actually help you. You can schedule a session with ourselves. We've actually set up a booking tool. We are going to circulate these slides, so you will have the link to it. And in fact, if you actually want us to show you how to set up a booking tool, you could actually engage us to do that as well. We've got a breakdown of how you can book us. So you can either book a minimum of an hour up to, we say 8 hours. Of course, you can book well beyond that, but it's just in those blocks. And you'll find the more time that you actually book, the rate comes down as well. The blocks don't have to be used in one go. So if you were to book an 8-hour block, it wouldn't be that we've got to be with you for a whole day. That block can be used as required over a 90-day period as well. Just to show you how that actually looks in the browser. So just bear with me again. I'll just bring it up on screen. Okay. Simply go to this link that we'll send to you, and you can choose what you'd like to book, and then select a time, and then we'll take it from there and liaise with you. Of course, you can always email us too as well. Okay, so what we'll do is we will open the floor. I'll maybe get Scott to check if we've had any questions or queries so far.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. And thanks, Dino. Always interested to see what you are working on inside Kinetics and with clients as well. Question from Matt: are these tools available inside RDS? So if you're operating inside a remote desktop service, operating on a server, how would that work?
Okay. The tools that we've got there, yeah, they're available. Most of them run from the browser, what we've seen there. Yeah, so, if you can get into the browser on the remote desktop, or you have copies of Word or PowerPoint that are installed there, then you should be able to. I would point out as well, I was using Word on the desktop there, but that automation that created the document doesn't have to be opened up in the desktop version of Word. It can be opened up in the browser-based version of Word, and it would, should still work.
Okay, well, that's good.
Okay, but yeah, there is that. Yeah, it's all the stuff, and particularly the automations that they're running in the cloud, as it were. So as long as we can connect to the data, create the right connections in the automation in Power Automate, yeah, it doesn't really matter where the data sits. It's doing the connection part that's the key.
Brilliant. Yeah, one of the things I've noticed is when we've been talking to people about AI and their interest in it, is what's the problem they're trying to solve, and sometimes these automations are simply compressing and improving time and repetition, which is great.
Yeah, quite often there's an alternative to AI, and if it's something that is repetitive and follows particular steps and requires particular outputs, an automation is quite often the most effective than generative AI that will not necessarily produce a consistent result.
Okay. Do we have any? It doesn't look like we've got any other questions. Is there anything else you'd like to wrap up with, Ben and Dino?
I think there was one question that just came through about whether the templates can be set up in Outlook as they are in Word. That was from Rick. Yeah. Look, probably just from the short answer, I would say is yes, it can also be set up in Outlook, and it probably just depends on which way you go about it. When it comes down to the templates, you've got the option to use there's a built-in templates setup that you can use within Outlook, or you can actually just use things like the quick parts, which is sort of templated approach as well. But yeah, short answer is yes, they can.
Yeah, there's definitely a few wee tips and tricks on using Outlook that can save you heaps of time on, using the same. It could be layout, so Dino mentioned quick steps on there. There's another one in there as well. It's got quick in the name. I can't quite recall what it is off the top of my head. There's quick steps. There's quick parts as well. Sorry, everything with the name quick in it. Yeah, so there's quite a few bits there, as well as developing your own templates in Outlook as well. You can do that too.
Okay, good stuff. Yeah, I love using quick parts.
Okay.
Well, if that's it, thank you very much, Ben, and thank you very much, Dinesh, for your time. And thanks to those who joined us today. And we'll get the recording up on the Kinetics website soon.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Cheers. Bye-bye.